Meeting called to order. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and dear guests. My name is Mohammed Shakir, and I will be the surgeon at arms for today's meeting. I welcome you all to the 983rd meeting of Taj Toastmasters Club number 1158. Before starting the meeting, I would like to mention some ground rules which we follow in our Toastmaster meetings. As Toastmasters, we don't talk about sex, religion, and politics. So please refrain from discussing these topics. Now, please repeat the club oath after me. For better listening,
For better listening,
for better thinking,
for better thinking,
for better speaking,
for better speaking.
we learn by doing.
We learn by doing.
Thank you. As everybody in their life has a mission to achieve their goals, likewise, our Toastmaster Club also has a mission. The mission of our Toastmaster Club is to provide a mutually supportive and positive learning environment in which every member has the opportunity to develop communication and leadership skills, which in turn foster self-confidence and personal growth. With this note, I would like to hand over the virtual lectern to our presiding officer today, a humble and simple person, but a strong leader. It's none other than our club president-elect, Toastmaster Sunil Idikula. Toastmaster Sunil Idikula, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Muhammad Shakir, today's Sergeant for your great words. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters. A warm good evening to you all. How are you all today? Hope you all are doing good today. What a theme is selected for today's meeting. It's practice. We always say practice makes perfect, right? After a long time of practicing, our works will become natural, skillful, and steady. Today, I'm also doing the practice because I'm also practicing how to become a presiding officer. Today, we have our 983rd meeting of this program here. Not for this program here, our continuous Taj here club meetings. And first of all, we will congratulate our last week winners. Just hold your applause until I call the names. The best speaker was last week, Toastmaster Umesh Kumar. Best topic speaker, Toastmaster Jijokoshi. And best evaluator, Toastmaster Iqbal Kasi. And best meeting leader, Toastmaster Kausar. And the best big three, Toastmaster Rajan Jose. My dear fellow Toastmasters, please give them a thunder of applause. Today, we have some guests, right? So, my dear guests, can you introduce by yourselves? There is Toastmaster Afifa Fatima. Toastmaster, my dear guest, Afifa Fatima. Ladies first, right?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Can you introduce by yourself? Welcome.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
Yes, Toastmaster Afifa.
Just share your introduction to guest Afifa.
My name is Afifa, and I'm about to be a student of the degree first year.
Okay, Toastmaster Afifa. And let's go for Sagar Dugal. My dear guest Sagar, welcome to Taj. Can you please introduce by yourself?
Thank you so much, sir. Hi, everyone. My name is Sagar. I'm a part of Gurgaon Orators Toastmaster Club, which is in India, which is in Delhi precisely. And I got this link from, from a WhatsApp group of the meeting links. I just got the link. I clicked on the meeting, and this is how I'm joining all the way from India to your club.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sagar. Welcome to our Taj Club meeting for today's meeting. And we'll go for the next guest, Galal Saki. Toastmaster Galal Saki, can you introduce by yourself?
Thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I'm from Egypt. I'm nearly 2 years old in Toastmasters, Cairo Toastmasters. And I've been invited by the person that I am terrified of in table topics, and that's Mr. Omar Farouk.
Thank you. Sir, if I am not mistaken, can you sing a song in the end of the program? Isra Imran Khan. Toastmaster Isra Imran Khan. Toastmaster Isra. I think he is not available. Toastmaster Juwaria.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Toastmaster Juwaria.
Hello.
Yeah, can you introduce by yourself and welcome to Taj?
Yeah, sure, of course. My name is Juwaria and my son Rehan is a member of Gable Club. So last week when I attended this Gable program, which was held in ISR Riyadh, I was really impressed by especially the teachings of Manas sir and Ibrahim sir. It was a pleasure to watch them, teaching the kids. So I approached Mr. Manas and it was very kind of him to invite me for this meeting. So thank you, Manas sir, once again.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And go for the next guest. Toastmaster Imad AK. Toastmaster Imad. Okay, Toastmaster Abhinay, are you available? Okay, go for the next guest, Toastmaster Sajad Mansoor. The next guest is the Toastmaster Khalid Amin. Toastmaster Khalid Amin, are you available?
तुम प्यारे से देखो हम प्यारे से देखे जीवन के अंधारे में बिखर जाए उजाला. Mr. President, I didn't want to disappoint you. You are requested a song and I didn't respond. So here is my song. My name is Khalid Amin. I am been a Toastmaster since 2005. My home club is Manama Toastmaster. I don't know where I am now, where you meet, but the reason I'm here is because of this man over here with eyeglasses on. His name is Omar Farouk. He takes me wherever he goes, day and night. And I'm very pleased to be here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. It's a great day I wish you a great day also for you. And the next guest is Toastmaster Abhinay. Yes, another one is Imad AK. Toastmaster Imad. And the next guest is Sagar Dugal. Are you available? Toastmaster Sagar?
Sagar has already introduced. You can go on to the other one.
Okay. Is anyone missing? Yes, Toastmaster Farid Khan. Sorry to you.
It's completely fine. Thank you so much, Toastmaster Sunil. I was starting to wondering if I need to turn my video off to be recognized as a guest. So this is Toastmaster Fardeen from Infosys Toastmaster Mysore. And I got the link for this meeting from that WhatsApp group called Global Toastmasters. And I didn't plan to come here. It just happened that I saw that it has started right now. And someone pinged in that group, and I was like, let's go and check this group out. And I'm loving the ambience, and I love the name, Taj Toastmasters. That really was something that struck out to me. So thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, sir. Thank you and welcome for Taj Club. I hope all the guests is already introduced.
Hello.
Yeah, Toastmaster Abhinay. Can you introduce by yourself?
Toastmaster Sunil.
Yes, sir. Can you introduce by yourself?
Am I audible? This is Toastmaster Abhinay speaking.
Yeah, it's audible now.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Actually, I came across your meeting link in my home club WhatsApp group. So it's a nice opportunity for me. May I know where this Taj Toastmasters original location is based from?
Taj Toastmaster Toastmaster Club is in Riyadh, one of the elite club of District 79, and we are in Riyadh under Division P.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Okay, let's move on. I think all our guests are introduced. Is there anyone is missing? Can you raise your hand? Good. Okay. Let's move on to the next session. I mean, there is some announcement for this week. As we all know about that, Taj is going to celebrate our annual day on this coming Friday on 24th of June 2022. And our program chair, even chair is DTM Manas Al-Bukhari. He is already filled with full of fun and energetic program in that annual day. So we already shared the link for the registration link, and I hope most of our members are already registered. And if anyone is missing, please do the registration and be on time from 3 o'clock to 10 o'clock in the evening, 3 p.m. to 10 p.m. and fully energetic, and we need to rock it there. So be on there, and we all will be going to be enjoyed a lot. Now, we'll go for our formal meeting. For that, we have every meeting, we have a lot of meeting leaders, meeting pillars to conduct this meeting in a successful. For that, I will call today's word master, Toastmaster Mansoor. Toastmaster Mansoor, can you please introduce the word for today?
Thank you, Presiding Officer. Fellow Toastmaster and guests, a warm good evening to all. For today's meeting, the word of the day is adroit, which means clever, skillful, or ingenious. An example of using the word is a prepared speaker should be adroit in their speech presentation. Next, he was adroit at tax avoidance. All Toastmasters are become an adroit reader. Each speaker is encouraged to use the word of the day, and I shall report on its usage when called upon by the general evaluator. Back to Presiding Officer.
Thank you. Please try to use the word adroit. This is our word of the day today. And I'm not wasting my time, and I'm going to give the lecture to the Toastmaster of the day, because he is going to be rocket today with the theme practice. I can say TMOD of today's TMOD is considered to be an adroit speaker. We don't need to introduce much about that person. He is already a winner of District 79 table topic speaker speaking contest, and Taj elected VPE. He's a very experienced, energetic, and I don't have much words to talk about the person. He is a really lovable person. And please let me welcome our today's TMOD, none other than Toastmaster Ibrahim Ali Karjikar. Toastmaster Ibrahim, the virtual stage is for you.
A very warm good evening, fellow Toastmasters. How are you guys doing? Awesome. It's a full house. Awesome. I love it. Lots of guests today. Guess what? The presiding officer literally ran into the time, and I know what the technicality is. We have lots of guests today, and I can't express how happy I am. I think we might need to repeat these practices of sending these links to the various social medias. All the guests, you all are very much welcome. And you guys, since now have the link, you guys can join our meeting over and over every week as a guest. So let me ask you one simple question. Practice. I know a few amongst you are doctors. You practice medicine, right? But besides that, any lawyer out here who is practicing law? No. So civilians, what do you practice? I just want to hear two prominent things that you practice. Let's hear from Mama Shakir. Mama Shakir, two things that you practice that you can boldly say and proclaim. I practice A, I practice B.
I practice better listening and better speaking.
Wow, awesome, fantastic. Now, the following people are not going to repeat what he said, okay? I know you all are practicing listening and speaking, which is an excellent attribute to becoming a better communicator. Let's hear from Muhammad Iqbal. Toastmaster Muhammad Iqbal, tell me two things that you practice.
I'm practicing to keep silent.
Keep silent. All right. Next.
You want two things?
Two.
Okay. I practice storytelling and bring in humor.
Fantastic. You make people laugh. That's an awesome quality. How about Toastmaster Umar Farouk? Welcome to our club, sir. It's always a pleasure having you because you bring in so many of quality Toastmasters to our meeting, and I love that. So tell me two things that you practice.
Oh, first of all, most important thing, I practice patience.
Practicing patience. Beautiful.
Yes. And secondly, practicing time management.
Practicing time management. Awesome. Fantastic. So how about distinguished Toastmaster, doctor, and the winner of the SATAC 3 titles, rare commodity. Distinguished Toastmaster Sundar, tell us two things that you practice.
Well, before that, let me ask you back a question. Are you talking about the practice that's a noun or the practice that's a verb?
Practice that's a verb.
Okay, fine.
I'm glad you asked that. I'm glad you asked that.
Because both of them apply to me. Well, I practice trying not to procrastinate, and I practice trying not to speak more, but rather listen more.
Fantastic. Awesome. I love it. And how about our presiding officer, President-elect, Toastmaster Sundar, or Toastmaster Sunil Idukula? Yeah, I got that right. Tell me two things that you practice.
Well, the first thing I am practicing that to control myself. Because when I'm in the site, I'm so aggressive. So nowadays I'm practicing to control myself, to avoid aggressive talk with our workers. As you all know that we are a safety professionals. When the people do something wrong thing, we fight with people and all this. So I'm practicing that to control myself, the first thing. And now I'm practicing for how to be a great leader. So this is the things I'm doing now.
Excellent. All right. Excellent responses from all of you. And I can't agree more than what you guys just said. All of those attributes, we all look forward to developing ourselves because eventually we become what we practice. And over time, what I have learned and to the deepest level of my beliefs is I have come to think practice as my way of life. Not only what I do and not just the behavior visible to others and those who are observing me, but also the beliefs that drive that behavior. So yes, definitely practice is a verb and practice makes a man perfect. So in sports, we have got to see people practicing to get proficiency, right? But think about in an interdependent world, what all qualities can you practice? So in an interdependent world, when I ask few of my fellow cricket teammates, what do you practice? Yeah, they practice bowling, batting, fielding, catching, all of those. That makes them a better cricketer. And they do practice for 4 hours. And if you look at the professional cricketers, like I heard Tendulkar used to practice for more than 12 hours a day. No wonder he became one of the greatest cricketer in the world. So if we have an opportunity as humans, normal humans, as Toastmasters, what attributes do you think can we practice that will make us better? And at the heart of all of those practices, definitely listening skill is the top one, but also the skills of having conversations. The conversations that make sense. The conversations that are not frivolous. The urge for talking is always there. But unless if we haven't practiced to have a quality conversation with the people with whom we interact, we miss the opportunity. Every given time when you interact, when you have this opportunity of interacting with other human beings, may that be a member of your family, may that be a member of your club, may that be your co-worker, or may that be a stranger, even a stranger. You have this opportunity of creating an impact on the person by simply doing conversations. And if you practice having better conversations, because there are always different ways, different levels of having conversations. I struggle to even begin a conversation with a stranger. But then if you don't practice, how would you get the proficiency in doing that? So one takeaway from today's meeting, what I would suggest you guys do is you will be meeting hundreds of strangers day in, day out. And those are the opportunities, right? Begin to practice starting a conversation with them. You don't scratch like, well, should I talk about cricket? Should I talk about what's going on in the world, Ukraine? No. A normal human being meeting with another human being. First, you can practice what kind of a conversation you would have. Make sure the conversation is not inclined towards you gaining something in terms of money or any other items. The conversation, you're not trying to have an influence over the person. No, it is just a one human being having conversation with other human being you may have never met before. You don't know the name of the person. And perhaps down the road, you may never even meet him. But the objective is to leave an impact in a fashion that when that person walks away, he will think to himself, he may tell stories about you to other people. Good gosh, I met this person, I didn't even know him. And we had this brief 2 minutes, 5 minutes conversation, and that essentially made my day. I began this practice, I would say, almost 10 years back. And I have been practicing having conversation with the strangers. In the lift, I have seen people, two strangers, they just stand like this. Even the neighbors. Yeah, good. Oh, okay, good. Okay, fine. Yeah. Sometimes they don't even nod their head. And those people get into the lift, looking at each other, someone locked in the phone, reach the destination, disperse. I know some lift friends in my office. And when they meet now, they say, hey, I didn't see you for a couple of days. Those are positive vibes. As humans, the least we could do, since we are social animals. Not that you have a need of it. It's just a 2-cent contribution, what you can do to make world a better place. How much investment do you need? Nothing. What do you earn out from that? Communication skills, conversation skills, and the vibes what you spread. The person feels good. And trust me, when you go back to your office or your home, you feel good about that. And even if you spend hundreds of dollars for that, perhaps you may never be able to buy that experience. That's how quality and that's how valuable that experience would be. Strangers coming to the people you know. I have my dozens of problems with me. Why would I bring that along when I'm having a conversation with the person I meet once a week? True? Because he is not your counselor, right? So I am practicing being the most optimist person I would know in my entire circumference. And the optimism what you spread essentially makes you a leader, which is the contrast of being a victim. More of the conversations I get to hear, oh, did you hear what happened? I said, no, I choose not to. Not that you're blindsided with what's going on in the world. You are aware of what's going on in the world, but then you choose to be a leader of your own life and the environment around you. You choose not to be the victim of the circumstances. And that's one of the practice which I truly cherish. And I would recommend you all practicing. So in one of those meetings, when I was having this speech and going on with the practicing, the terms that came to my mind is Well, at times we practice non-conformity. We practice essentially, which is not necessary. Then one-upmanship, we do that, right? We practice that. We also practice cooperation. Truth-telling, we practice lying as well, don't we? We practice mentoring in Toastmasters. I love gardening. I wish I had a garden down here, but that's a good practice. Shamanism. Have you seen that? Sarcasm. You have no idea what kind of a mark those sarcasm, the sarcastic remarks leave on the people who are at the receiving end. And unfortunately, people don't practice the opposite of that. And as a result, they keep on practicing within the siblings, within the family, within the friend circle, and any given time when they just have an opportunity, those sarcastic remarks are just thrown off. And then you just think out of it. I wonder what this person was thinking about. Why would you make those remarks, right? And don't blame them. It's just the practice because the guy didn't get an opportunity and guidance to practice how to have a conversation other than those. We all love to have conversations. We all love to talk. Unless we don't practice, we practice quality conversations, the environment is not going to be as good as one would expect. With least investment, from here on, this is the takeaway. Find strangers, your fellow Toastmasters, people in the organization with whom you may have never had talked in recent past. There could be many colleagues with whom you may have not even went and asked and stopped by, hey, how are things going? Just that little asking. I would rather choose to sit in my cubicles, not bother myself of just stretching out that aisle and having that conversation with the people who belong to the same organization I work for. So the time is of essence, and as one of the function of Toastmasters, we are already running a little late. I would step into introducing the meeting leaders. So the word master was Toastmaster Mansoor. He introduced the word. We have an R counter, Toastmaster Saravanan. Can you please step up and explain your role?
Yes, sir. Sure. Good evening, fellow Toastmaster and dear guests. Today is my role, R counter. As R counter, I will be listening to what the speakers say and marking down on the chart, and inappropriate word or sound used as a space filler. The space filler can be word such as and, will, but, so, and you know. The inappropriate sound may be or er. So I will also note when a speaker repeats a word of phrases such as I, or this means. So these are, I will note that. So at the end of the meeting, I will provide my reports. Yes, sir. This is my role for my responsibility.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saravanan. Let's call our grammarian, Toastmaster Mansoor. Toastmaster Mansoor, can you please explain your role?
Thank you, Toastmaster of the day, fellow Toastmaster and guests. Good evening once again. As a grammarian, it is my responsibility to pay close attention to all speakers, listening carefully to their language uses. I will take note of any improper language as well as any outstanding word, quotes, saying, or thoughts. I will give the grammarian reports when called upon by the general evaluator. Thank you, and back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mansoor. Let's call upon Toastmaster Praveen, the timer for today's meeting. Toastmaster Praveen, can you please explain your role?
Thank you, Ibrahim Kunzika. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Today, my role as a timer. Normally, the timer speaks timing of 5 to 7 minutes as a. So the 5 minutes I will be raised a green card, and the 6 minutes I will be raised as a yellow card, and 7 minutes I will be raised as a red card. Above 7 minutes and 30, the speaker will be disqualified. Back to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Praveen. Let's call Toastmaster Mama Shakir, who is our vote counter today. Toastmaster Mama Shakir, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Once again, good evening to all. As a vote counter, I will help you to choose the best prepared speaker, best table topic speaker, best meeting leader, best evaluator, and best of big three. We shall using the Google form, and I shall share the link after each segment or once upon by the segment leader. You can vote for the best performer as you believe, and I will not do the voting unless there is a need to break a tie. And I will give my report once called upon by the presiding officer at the end of the meeting. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you. Thank you all meeting leaders for explaining your role for tonight's meeting. I would straight away jump into the first session. We have 3 sessions. One is the prepared speech. The second one is the table topic session. And the third is the evaluation session. So we have 3 prepared speakers for tonight. And the first speaker's evaluator, let me call upon Toastmaster Rajan Jose to explain the objective of our speaker's project. Toastmaster Rajan Jose, the virtual stage is yours.
A warm good evening to you all. Our speaker, the speaker whom I'm evaluating is Toastmaster Bhaskar, and his topic is going to be based on his speech L1P2. The purpose statement of his project is for the member to deliver a speech with awareness of intentional and unintentional body language, as well as to learn, practice, and refine how he uses non-verbal communication when delivering a speech. I wish the speaker all the best, and back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajan Jose. Fellow Toastmasters, our first speaker, he comes from Bangalore in India, and he has been living in Saudi Arabia for the past 11 years. He works as an reinsurance manager in Tavonia. He has done his MBA in finance and fellowship in insurance. He is happily married with 2 kids, and his hobbies include movies, cricket, and Toastmasters. A passionate Toastmaster. Fellow Toastmaster, please join with me to welcome Toastmaster Bhaskar. Toastmaster Bhaskar, the virtual stage is yours.
What makes an exceptional speaker? Fellow Toastmasters and distinguished guests, a warm good evening to all of you. Is it the flashy slides, or the tone modulation, or the message? What is that special which makes a speaker attract an audience? Or is it the body language, the gesture, or the stance he takes on the stage? Fellow Toastmasters, as per the survey, general observation, body language plays 55% of the effectiveness in a communication and in the presentation. And 38% of it applies on the tone of modulation and how you speak to the audience. And the rest 7% is the message or the content of your speech. Today I'm gonna talk about the effectiveness of body language. Yes, body language is such a superpower that you can connect to the audience and you can speak to the large mass at any given time. We all have great ideas, What if if we are not able to drive it to the audience? What if we are not able to make them listen to us? It will be just a message or a news reading. So in any presentation, body language is very efficient, very important. Ralph Emerson said, "What you do is so loud that I cannot hear what you say." So it's very important that what we do and how we move around. So the whole body language and communication can be classified into three. Firstly, postures, then gestures, and thirdly, engaging the audience. When it comes to postures, it's very important that you stand in center of the stage and our legs should be as wide as your chest, shoulders. And when we are moving across the stage, we have to ensure that we keep some large steps so that the audience will feel that we are confident. I learned this very expensive message with a lot of mistakes. I can still recollect my icebreaker speech where I was putting one hand inside the pocket and clasping my hand, thanks to all the evaluation and patience of our senior Toastmasters. So with this, I learned the importance of communication and body language and what should be the right posture. So it's very important that we capture the center of the stage. While we talk about the postures, secondly, gestures. Hand gestures. Sometimes, as human beings, we are so lucky that we have so lengthy hand, but when we are talking in front of the people, we don't know where to hide these hands, whether it could be behind or hand or sometimes fold our hands. So these gestures really impacts the credibility of your talk. So the audience, to feel you're confident, you have to ensure that there is nothing behind the audience and the speaker. It's said that when you use a right gesture, it's heard twice. I've seen some favorite speakers, even our president in his final speech, where he mentions about flying in Geneva. So I could never forget Georgia. So these kind of gestures, and sometimes it will attract and make an impression to the audience, and they will carry the message, and it may be a memorable one. And when it comes to gestures, there is some simple tips. We should imagine, like, sometimes our gestures should go with the flow of story. When we are saying that, okay, I came to Saudi Arabia from India, so I can say that I can moving our hands along with the story. Or there's a simple trick where you can imagine you have a basketball in hand and just try to move your hand so closely. So although you're not giving any message, the audience, just with the gestures, they will understand that, okay, this guy is very confident and he's speaking. Even the last person in the last row will see that, okay, although if you are not audible, he will get connected to you. And finally, there is another tip. It's called as give, show, and chop. Let me demonstrate it to you. Fellow Toastmasters, I joined Toastmasters to improve my communication skill. I'm glad I'm doing it, and I'm so sure that you will also benefit from this. So this is called give, show, and chop. So these kind of gestures will give a confidence and attract your audience. With the body language of postures and gestures, we move on to the third one, which is very important, which is engaging the audience. While we are presenting something, we are so conscious about ourselves, how we are standing, how we are moving around, and how we are moving the gestures. However, the most important thing is to give the message to the audience. So there are three important tips where to keep our audience engaged. Firstly, body and gestures. Secondly, we have to look beyond the eyes. I'm sure if we have to see how our audience is leaning forward, or are they really interested and are they engaged with your talk? If not, that's when you can surprise them with a question or bring in a humor. Or thirdly, pick a person whom you think is really not getting connected with you. So these are simple tips which will help us to improve our communication through our body language. So fellow Toastmasters, it's to share my experience. I never thought that I could even attempt trying and giving a presentations. It is like a bungee jump for me. When I heard from our fellow Toastmasters, seniors and achievers saying that even they were humor, they were they were tense when they started. That's what has caught my heart. And I have been practicing with the hope that I will improve like them one day. So it's very important that we have confidence on ourselves and we start practicing. We try to do something where we feel it is difficult. So all the best, and over to you, Toastmaster of the evening. Thank you.
What a fantastic project, Bhaskar. I'm a fan of yours. Can't agree more. Body language, it is very important. I love how you demonstrated this ball. Fantastic. So let's step on to the second speaker. Let me call upon the second speaker's evaluator, Toastmaster Shakir, to come and explain the speaker's project objective. Toastmaster Shakir, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster of the evening. Once again, good evening to all. The purpose of this project is to begin developing a collection of humorous stories and to present a speech that include humor. Speech length will be 5 to 7 minutes, and the title of the speech itself, it's a humor. Telling a story to wife is like hitting your head on wall. Oh my God. The speech of the speech title itself, it's a good humor. I know he's an adroit speaker, Toastmaster Iqbal Qasim, a very clever guy. He is going to rock the show. Thank you, and over to you, Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Muhammad Shakir. Fellow Toastmasters, our second speaker, 19 years of working experience in food manufacturing. He currently works as a production manager in Mama's Sauce Factory in Riyadh. He has completed his master's in philosophy in applied microbiology. He did his diploma in Islamic psychology. He loves challenges. He aspires to be a scientist and public speaker as well. And he's a very passionate Toastmaster. Currently the member of 6 Toastmaster clubs in Riyadh. Yeah, 6. That explains his passion. Fellow Toastmasters, please join with me to welcome Toastmaster Iqbal Qasim. Toastmaster Iqbal Qasim, the virtual stage is yours.
Tell a man there are 300 billion stars in the universe and he will believe you. Tell him a bench has wet paint on it. He will not believe you. He will put his hand to touch and he want to be sure that it is wet or not. This is life. Storytelling is the most powerful way to put ideas into the world. Fellow Toastmasters and my dear guests, warm good evening to all of you. I have a bad habit of absent-minded. I usually forget everything. And I have a habit of reading jokes from internet or from the WhatsApp groups. And once I read these messages, my mind says it has to be vomited to somebody else. Until that time, I will not get sleep. So who is next to me is my wife. I go to her. My dear, today I'll tell you something interesting. The first time I tell her, she listens happily. After that, I forget. Even after 1 year, if I read the same joke, for me, it resembles, it's a new joke for me. And it's something new. And I go to my wife again. My dear, I have something new for you. Then when I start telling, she said, stop it. Are you a hackshaw blade? How many times you will tell the same jokes to me? I am feeling bored. Get lost. Fellow Toastmasters, if you want to be good, you will not be considered good in your life. I read recently a story in Google. The story starts like this. There was a poor guy who lost his money in a business. He don't have anything to eat. So what he did, instead of asking to the people or begging to the people, he started writing a letter to the God. He wrote a letter, "My dear God, I lost all money in business and I am poor now. Can you borrow me 100 rupees? You was truly the poor guy." He wrote this letter. Since he don't know the address of the God, he just left the 2 column with the God only. Then he posted in the post box. The postmaster, the poor guy, when he read, he understood this guy is believing the God and he don't want to disturb this person's mind. So what he did, he took 50 rupees from his pocket and then started collecting another 50 rupees from other postmasters. Luckily, on that day, he could collect only 30 rupees. So 50 plus 30, it was 80 rupees in his hand. He thought of sending that money through the postal order to that poor guy. So what he did, he sent a postal order to that poor guy. How much? 80 rupees. The money order reached through this postmaster. The postmaster carried that money order through this guy. And the poor guy, when he received, he was very much happy after receiving this money from God. On the other hand, he was upset. 20 rupees was missing from that postal order. Then immediately he started writing a letter back to the God saying, "Dear God, I am very much excited to receive a money order from you, but I am very upset. Don't send the money next time through this postmaster because he's a fraud guy. He took 20 rupees from what you sent us 100 and he gave you only 80. Fellow Toastmasters, do whatever good in your life, but the bad name is going to come behind you." This was the moral of the story, and I enjoyed this story. For all the Toastmasters over here, you will find the story ends. But for me, the story begins now. Since it was an interesting story, I went to my wife. I said, "Dear, can I tell you something interesting?" Come on, tell me. After you tell me, I will tell you whether it is interesting or not. Come on, tell me. Then I started telling about there was a poor guy who lost business and he wrote a letter to the God. Wait. From where you read this? It was from any book? I said, no. Was it from Google Messages? I said, yeah. Okay. Was that guy a poor guy or a farmer? I said, I don't understand or I don't remember whether that guy was a farmer. Okay, let me tell you the story. My wife started telling me it was a poor farmer who lost. There was no rain, so the farm was empty and dry. So he was praying to the God for rain, and rain poured, and he was happy. The farmer was happy. But that rain turned into be a heavy rain, continuous rain. The farm gets spoiled. This is how the story started. And why you are blabbering like it was a poor guy, he wrote a letter to a God. I said, okay, dear, what is the problem if I start with some other different person's name? No. You have to start with the correct name of guy. He's a farmer. And out of curiosity, I asked my wife, dear, from where you learned this story? Did I tell you anything before something like this? She said, no. You are a bad father now. This is the first lesson for your son's English book. Have you ever touched his book? Have you ever taught him a single lesson? After joining this Toastmasters, you lost your mind. You are simply wasting your time. Fellow Toastmasters, when I end my story, the story for me started from my wife. It is same like if you want to tell a story to your wife, it is just like hitting your head badly on your wall. And if you want to be a adroit storyteller in your life, and if you want to cover your wife or attract your wife, I will give you one suggestion. Do you want to know what is it? Just join Taj Toastmasters. You will be an adroit Toastmasters. Over to you.
Fantastic speech, Toastmaster Iqbal. I thoroughly enjoyed your humor, and I can correlate. Yeah, when we talk with our spouses, at times they know more than what we know. Especially in today's interconnected world, these jokes, essentially, you really need to be creative. Otherwise, most of them, our spouses have also read them before we could do. So, getting on to our third speaker, I would invite TTM Guru Rajan to explain the objective of our third speaker. Distinguished Toastmaster Guru Rajan, the virtual stage is yours.
Dear Toastmaster of the evening and fellow Toastmasters, a warm good evening to all of you.
Good evening.
Speaker is going to do the project number 1 in level 5. The path is dynamic leadership, and the title is the title of the speech is Lessons from the Journey to the Top. The purpose of the project for the member to learn about and apply the skills needed to run the lessons learned during the project or after its completion. He will also share his experience. So the time of the speech is 5 to 7 minutes. Good luck to the speaker. Over to the Toastmaster of the evening.
Thank you. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Guru Rajan. Fellow Toastmaster, our next speaker, he's an academician, clinician, and researcher by profession, and Toastmaster by profession since 2017. Currently, he is working as an associate consultant oral surgeon at King Saud University Medical City. He has taken up several leadership roles and won many speech contests. Currently, the club you are attending, he is the president of the Taj Toastmaster Club. He's also a VP PR for Garajana Toastmaster Club and club coach for PSU Falcons Club. A very close friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, the winner of SATAC Table Topic Contest year 2022, winner of SATAC Evaluation Contest year 2022, winner of the Humorous Speech Contest year 2022, and the second runner-up for the International Speech Contest. Fellow Toastmasters, please join with me to welcome distinguished Toastmaster Dr. Sundar Ramalingam. DTM, the virtual stage is yours.
We all like to live a life forward. Don't you agree? But the reality of the matter is, life can only be understood backwards. All the journeys that we take in our life, we all love to take forward a step and go forward in that journey. But what did we learn out of that is always a realization when you look backwards. Fellow Toastmasters and all my dear friends, a warm good evening to you all. One such journey of realization happened in my life approximately 6 years ago. It was July 2016, and I had to take up a pilgrimage to a town that was close to my city, close by 120 kilometers. And this was a pilgrimage center that was on top of a hill. And I had vowed to take up this pilgrimage several years ago. And it had been postponed year after year. And finally, in 2016, it happened to materialize. You might be wondering what is so special about taking a pilgrimage of 120 kilometers, going up a mountain hill and finishing or accomplishing the task. Well, the real challenge is we had to walk all the way. So 120 kilometers walking all the way. 3 days, all that I remember doing right now is eat, sleep, walk. Eat, sleep, walk. Eat, sleep, walk. Of course, we all had to eat as a group for the energy. We had to sleep for the necessary rest and keep walking all the way for 3 long days to reach our destination, which was 120 kilometers away. Finally, we did make it. But you might be wondering what's so special, because I told you at the beginning itself, it's not about the journey forward, but the lesson that was learned by looking backwards. So I had 3 important lessons that I learned through that journey of my life. Number 1, no matter how big your journey is, whether it's a mile or 1,000 miles, it always starts with one small step. I had been postponing this pilgrimage trip for years together. It took me almost 15 or 16 years to make it happen in my life. Why? Because I was not willing, or I did not have the courage to take that first step. So if you want to accomplish something in your life, take the first step. Be brave enough, be adroit enough to take that first step. Number 2, once you start the journey, all that you need is the perseverance to move forward. 120 kilometers was no mean feat. We had to walk 3 long days with just short breaks in between. But thankfully, with friends, well-wishers, and family who all supported me, I had the perseverance to make it forward to that 120 kilometer long walking journey. Finally, we did make it up to the destination. But that was the greatest lesson that I learned. What happened is, like, throughout this 120 kilometer journey, I took so much of pains along with the people around me. But one short leg that happened to be the last leg before we had to climb the mountain, it was just 3 or 4 kilometers, which we had to make a final walk. But I had a very severe strain, which would not let me take it over. But all that I had to do was to take the support of a vehicle. There was a support team which was taking us all, those of them who had inabilities, who had difficulties, they had a support team who transported us through vehicles. So I had to take the help of one such vehicle at that point in time. And I started regretting a lot. Why did I do it? Because my aim was to make all those 120 kilometers by feet. But what have I failed by just taking the help of a transportation mode for those 4 kilometers? Well, my dear friends, at the end of the journey, when I came and spoke about it to my friends, family, and well-wishers, they all made me realize that it was no mean feat. It was something, a sacrifice that I had made because I had vowed to make it, and I had made it. And this 4 kilometers that I took the support of vehicle cannot deem it a failure. So the greatest lesson that I learned at that point in time, no matter what the outcome is, failure or success is a mere event, but it cannot define who you are. So you may all be wondering, why should I share this as a lesson learned today? 6 years down the line, just a couple of months ago, not even a couple of months, just a month ago, I had a similar scenario where I had to take 3 marathon days. The only difference is this time it was not eat, sleep, and walk. Rather, it was eat, sleep, and talk. You might know now what I'm talking about. This was the SATAC 2022 finals. I was in a control room similar to where I am standing right now for 3 long days. All that I remember was eat, sleep, and talk. 4 semifinals, 4 finals, and you know where I have reached. Yet again, I had the same 3 lessons. I was a reluctant speaker. The first year as a Toastmaster, I was not willing to go into any other contest other than the international speech. Then I said, humorous is not my forte. Then finally I said, table topics, maybe I should try, but evaluation, no. But this time, I was willing to take the step for all the 4 contest categories, and I did win in 3. The second thing, for 4 years in a line, I have been contesting. At times, I used to feel ashamed that I am grabbing away all the awards at the club level because I'm not giving opportunities. As a leader, I should do that. But then, thankfully, friends, family, and well-wishers both at home and at my club and the fraternity, supported me to persevere this journey. And last but not the least, after having crossed this bigger barrier, after winning 3 championships and being a second runner-up in one of those categories, it all feels that no matter what was the outcome, the lesson learned is more important. Had I failed, that doesn't deem me a failure. And having won, that doesn't mean that I have won everything in life. Both were mere events, and they do not define who I am. What defines me is the lessons that I learned. So, my dear friends, no matter what project that you take up in your life, be it personal, professional, or something that is a passion for you, remember to take the first step. Take the support of around you, people around you to persevere. And finally, no matter what is the outcome, victory or failure, it doesn't define you. You learn a lesson which will define you. Toastmaster.
Fantastic presentation. What an Android speaker we have. What an Android leader we got to witness. Thank you. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Sundar Ramalingam. Time is of essence, and I would rather omit my filler speech down here and jump onto the second session. We have concluded the first session. I would just check with our timer. Have our speakers qualified?
All 3 speakers are qualified.
Thank you. All 3 speakers have qualified. So vote counter, you may proceed with the 3 speakers for today's evening. Let's move on to the second session. And that is my favorite session. I love it. This is something which truly keeps you on the toes, which is the table topic session. And in order to conduct this, we have a proficient, passionate Toastmaster who hails from Punjab, Pakistan, and he is an internal auditor by profession. He has been a Toastmaster since 2019 and strongly believes in transformational service leadership. He is the director for Area 31 of Division F in our District 79 for the current year. He's the club mentor of Gulf Advantage Toastmaster Club. He's a member of Sand Dunes Toastmaster Club, and he's the immediate past president of Horizon Toastmaster Club. He loves reading books, teaching, playing chess, listening to music, watching movies, and of course, Toastmasters. Fellow Toastmasters, please join with me to welcome the table topic master of today's evening, Toastmaster Umar Farouk. Toastmaster Umar Farouk, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you, Toastmaster Ibrahim, for such a introduction, and I'm humbled. And so from better speaking, we move on to better thinking session. So in this session, we will be practicing how to think fast for any topic that will be given to you impromptu. Just on that moment, you will be given a topic and you have to speak on it for 1 to 2 minutes. Every speaker will be speaking minimum 1 to 2 minutes, and 1 minute will be green, 1.5 minutes will be yellow, 2 minutes red, and 30 seconds to wrap up the speech. But there is a twist in these table topics from my side. So this time, the table topics theme is Devil's Advocate. Devil's Advocate will be go like this. I will be choosing a speaker that will be speaking for the topic, like in support. The second speaker can be anyone I will be picking up, and he has to speak against the topic. You never know who will be that person. So let's see. So let's start with Toastmaster Fardeen. You want to try?
Yeah, sure. I'd love to.
So you have to speak in favor of this topic, okay? And your topic is Love is Blind. Love is Blind, Fardeen.
Thank you so much, Table Topics Master, my dear fellow Toastmasters and guests. So it's already night in my place. And you know what night signifies? it says that there is darkness. And when there is darkness, many of us can't see. But it's not the scenario always. I mean, there can be scenarios where you cannot see, but it is not dark. It's actually light. And you may ask, Fardeen, where does that happen? Are you out of your mind or something? But have you tried looking at the sun? You look at the sun and you can't see because there's too much light coming into your eyes. So with that, I'd like to begin on this topic, that love is blind. And why do people say that? The reason for that is because there's so much light, there's so much emotion in that people forget to see these mundane appearances. And that is why you may see people of different ethnicities loving each other without having any discrimination. And I think that that's something really beautiful in life. And that of course comes with when the love is pure and potent, not with what we are seeing today, that people saying willy-nilly, I love you to each other. That's not what love stands for. And that certainly, I believe personally, that certainly cannot come in one glance. You need to build up that certain sense of emotion. And once that has been built up, it does not matter if you are a black person or a white person or a brown person or an Asian or an American. That does not matter once that feeling has built up, because it brings down all the barriers of this carnal desires that we have. And once they are down, I think that we can connect to souls. And because souls have no ethnicity, they have no color, they have no race, that is why I think that we can connect with our fellow human beings better. And hence I think that love is truly blind, and that is a good thing and a beautiful thing to witness. Thank you so much. Back to the table topics now.
Toastmaster Fardeen, the love is blind, you are saying. So let's see. Guest Javeria, speak against this topic. Love is not blind. Guest Javeria, are you there? The love is silent this time, huh? So let's go to Khalid, distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Amin. Are you there?
Unfortunately, I am, yes.
Oh, so you can listen to us. So you have to speak, love is not blind. The topic is love is not blind, yes.
Mr. Table Topics Master, adroit leaders and communicators, and guests like myself. Love is blind or not blind. My respected opponent claims love is blind. Unfortunately, he didn't even define what love is. So first of all, what is love? And I mean true love. If love is blind, how can you exhibit your love for the person or the thing that you are showing? Definitely, I don't think love is blind, because true love has to be based on understanding the nature of the thing that you love. And if it's a person, the nature of the person you are dealing with. Otherwise, it is just a word that people will use. Love based on understanding is true love. And in that case, love cannot be blind. It is all seeing everything. If I love a person, I am sure there are certain traits in this person that attracted me to them. Otherwise, it's a whim. It is a wish. And if you lead your life on a whim or just a wish, I am sorry to say you are doomed to fail in achieving your objectives in life. Next time you think you're going to be in love with something, or you decide or you feel, make sure you understand the nature of this thing and what are the things that you saw that made you attract to this thing or this person? And I wish everyone all the best. Mr. Table Topics Master.
So wonderful. So love is not blind. That is eternal, but don't be so much blinded by the love that you don't see anything. So wonderful. So next, Afifa. Afifa, you want to try topic?
Yes, sir, sure.
So Afifa, you have to speak in favor of this topic, okay? And the topic is avoiding problem is better than solving them. Avoiding problems is better than solving them. Afifa.
Yeah. Okay, sir. Good evening, a favor of avoiding problems is better than solving them. Honestly, I don't want to speak in favor, but I have to. So it's better to avoid a problem, as you say that it's better to be late than sorry, as the saying goes. Just like that, it's better to avoid problems than to land yourself in them, because you're not aware of how well you can solve a particular problem. You're not aware of how much deep a problem can go, or how much circumstances can fall in your way. So it's better that you avoid or stay away from the block where there's a lot of obstacles. Better walk on the safe path, so you can better go in the direction. That's all I can say. Thank you.
Interesting. So Afifa wants to avoid the problem of handling this topic. So let's move on to the next. So who will be speaking against it? Javeria. Javeria has arranged hands up. So you have to be the devil's advocate. Speak against it.
So I would like to say that I want to face it, because when you face it, you have partially solved it. As Ibrahim sir said last week when he was giving lecture in the school, that whenever problems arises, you have to say step ahead and say, I am here to face it. So in my view, according to my experience, I faced a lot of problems, and whenever I am there, I am here, I am ready to face it. I say, trust me that I've actually solved it partially. And it will become very easy for me to solve and resolve it. It becomes very easy for me to get out of it very easily. Thank you.
Okay, that is an interesting proposition also. So there is a very famous saying that goes like, a clever man solves a problem, a wise man avoids it. So, but wonderful, interesting take from both of you, Afifa and Javeria. So next move on to from being wise. So let's go on to the other topic. Let's pick up a speaker. Okay, who will speak first? Anish, you want to do? Anish? Anish is there? No.
Really sorry, I'm on a walk.
Okay, no issues. Manaz,
So
you want to
next
try?
time.
Okay, no issues. Manaz?
Yes, definitely not a problem.
Yes. So your topic is being wise is better than being intelligent. Being wise is better than being intelligent. Support this argument.
Toastmasters says that we learn by doing. I have not practiced being wise, and I have never practiced being intelligent. And so I would say I'm the most inappropriate person to talk about whether being wise or whether being intelligent is, which is the best. But let me tell you, it is through practices that we learn each and everything. Long back, while I was in my hotel management college, soon after my college times, I was prepared to join hotels. And this is a story which I always tell. And I was so much addicted that I wanted to work in hotels, become a food and beverage manager. But things did not work my way. That time I did not get through a proper campus interview, and I had to join a quick service restaurant field, which is McDonald's. I I asked a lot of people advices whether it's good to join a quick service restaurant or hotels. So as wise men told me that go ahead and grab whatever opportunity comes your way. Don't discard it. And as I said, when wise men tells you something, we always follow that because their decisions are always intelligent. And it cannot be irreversible is what I meant to say. Wise men takes intelligent decisions, and that way it's always good to go with the wise men. And I'm sure that when distinguished Toastmaster Omar gave me such a confusing question, I thought I should leave him confused as well. Back to.
Manas tried to get in two boats at the same time, but good improvisation. And so let's go with Mansoor. You want to speak against this topic? Mansoor Alam. Mansoor, don't be afraid. So you have to say that being intelligent is better than being wise. Okay? Support this. Yes, Mansoor, what happened?
I'm audible?
Yes.
As we all know that we have to respect our elders' suggestion. Whenever they suggest for the good thing, we have to follow them, and we have to grab the opportunity, whatever we have available. So obviously we have to go through our elder suggestion whenever we are not getting any kind of path. So definitely we have to follow them.
Okay, interesting take on the topic, Mansoor. So last round we have. So let's pick up a speaker. Who wants to try? Raise your hand. Let's go with Shakir. Shakir, you want to try? Shakir, your topic is there is no such thing as luck. There is no such thing as luck. Support this argument.
You mean luck? It's just a belief. Don't trust that word. When someone said you have a lot of luck, that doesn't mean you didn't work it for that. I lost my job once, and I didn't believe that is a bad luck for me. Might be it's a good opportunity for a better job. Why we can't think like that? Luck, it's not actual. It's happened. People believe good luck, bad luck, but it's all about our intention, our passion, and how we approach the things. There will be obstacles in our way. You want to cross that obstacle and overcome, or you want to run away from that obstacles. That's exactly the good luck and bad luck. And I personally doesn't believe in luck. I believe myself, and I have that courage that I can do things in my life better than believing in luck. Over to you, table topic master.
Interesting take, Shakir. You are lucky one to take this topic. So next, Guru Rajan sir, you are there. Guru Rajan. Yes. So you have to speak against this topic. There is no such thing as luck. The topic was that.
So I have to talk.
Against
Everything's
it.
luck.
Yes, there is a something called luck is there. You are the devil's advocate.
Luck is the most wanted thing in our life. You look at us. We are going to office every day, toiling 8 hours a day. And then at the end of the month, you look at the salary and the expenses. So little we save. Think about Bill Gates and the Ambanis. You see, they have a lot of money. They don't know what to do. They build big palaces for their wives. They go with a charter flight. That's the luck. Really, everyone wants to lead the life like that. That is a luck. Without luck, with whatever the labor you do, at the end of it, the life becomes so tired. With a lot of luck, you can succeed. For example, I am contesting in one of the contests, and then I have judges mostly from other nationalities. You cannot understand my speech. Finished. So even to succeed, you should have a luck. Mere intelligence and labor are not alone enough in one life. You should be lucky enough to have a good wife, my dear. Suppose every day you return from office, she is going on nagging you. What will you do? I can imagine if you are so lucky, like a beautiful wife and very polite and nice speaking, preparing very good food. You are lucky. You are luckier than Ambani's. Dear Toastmasters, we have to pray for luck in all our walks of life. Without luck, life is horrible. Even love is horrible. So, dear Toastmasters, I request all of you, don't think that luck is so inferior. Only other things are great. I only wish all you people not only successful, but also lucky to achieve greater heights. Over to the tabletop most.
Interesting and fun take on the topic, Rajan sir. And I always believe that there is something connected to luck. Some part of our life is not in our control. So wonderful. So with this, a very adroit take on topics from each and every speaker. Well done, everyone. And with this, I would like to hand over the virtual lecture back to our Toastmaster of the night, Ibrahim Kaji.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Umar Farouk, for conducting an awesome table topic session. I love that devil's advocate twist you gave for the table topic session. We are running behind schedule. And again, it comes down to what are we practicing? What are we practicing? Sorry?
Point of order.
Can we extend by 15 minutes?
Yeah, can you ask the timer? All the TT speakers are qualified.
Yes, Toastmaster Afifa, Toastmaster Juwaira, and Toastmaster Mansoor not qualified.
So can you give the names of the people who are qualified?
Toastmaster Farheen Khan, Toastmaster Khalid Amin, Toastmaster Guru Rajan, Toastmaster Manaf, Toastmaster Shakir, qualified.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Praveen. Time is of essence, and we at Taj, most of the time, practice concluding the meeting on time. But then we had some honorable guests today, and what we are practicing is to be an awesome host. So I would just request to extend the meeting time by 15 minutes with your permission. Can someone please second?
I second it.
Thank you. Thank you, distinguished Toastmaster Sundar.
And if there is anyone in disagreement, you may please raise your hand.
Thank you. Seems like there is no one. Thank you. So we will jump onto the third session. Third session is something which is really painful. Who likes judging? But guess what? At Toastmaster, the judging is the part that elevates you. You'll find this kind of a judging nowhere else. We call that as an evaluation session. People come here and try to see what's the best you do. With the 80-20 formula, I love this session. This is the session essentially which encourages our Toastmasters. And in order to conduct our evaluation session today, we have President-elect for Taj Toastmasters. He works at Mopco Construction Company and currently working in Riyadh Metro Bus Depot project as an HSE in charge since past 5 years. He has worked in KSA for 6 years and he lives with his wife. He's a thorough gentleman. As much as I have had conversation with him, there are very few people who can match the genuinity of our President-elect, Toastmaster Sunil Edukula. Toastmaster Sunil Edukula, the virtual stage is yours.
Thank you. Once again, Toastmaster Ibrahim Kachikar. As we all know about that evaluation session, we have 3 parts. First of all, the evaluation about the speech, for the prepared speech. And then we call for the meeting leaders report, then the general evaluation of the entire meeting. So first of all, we'll go for the, because we are running out of time, so we need to go for very fast now. So we'll call for all the evaluators. For that, we have the first evaluator is the working as a project manager in one of the leading company. It's an Awal group of company in Saudi Riyadh, and he's one of the great speaker, great leader, and we always call Amitabh Bachchan of Taj Toastmasters because of his too high. So please help me welcome Toastmaster Rajan Joseph to evaluate Toastmaster Bhaskar's speech. Toastmaster Rajan Joseph.
Practice makes a man perfect. Continuous practice is important to learn anything. There is no alternate to hard work to achieve success. Toastmaster Bhaskar came across as bright, young, adroit, and a resolute speaker. He started with a question and caught the audience's attention, asking, what makes an exceptional speaker? His speech clarity was good, both clear and audible, in addition to commendable vocal variety. Eye contact, let's agree, it's quite difficult in an online meeting, but each of us got the feeling that he was addressing us as he delivered the speech. Toastmaster Bhaskar enticed us to look beyond the eyes and engage the audience. He used the allocated speech time well, all of the available 7 minutes very effectively. We learned the importance of posture. Gesture such as folding hands can affect credibility of the conversation. Flying in Georgia was a memorable gesture. Flapping both hands really caught the audience's attention. Toastmaster Bhaskar tempted us to engage the audience and get connected to the last person in the last row. His demonstration, give, show, and talk was a beneficial exercise for us to learn from. Your actions speak so loudly, I cannot hear what you're saying. What do you say? Can we refer to him as clever, adroit, ingenious? So, Toastmaster Bhaskar, what does practice make perfect? If I may add, give more personal experiences to keep the audience at the edge of the seat, wishing for more when your timer shows the red card. When you referred to moving across the stage, we could see you move, but it would have been more effective and engaging to see the whole you instead of just 1/3. Toastmaster Bhaskar, we all agree that you are well on the way to greater success, and we wish you continued success. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Rajan Jose. It was indeed a great evaluation. Coming to the next evaluation, its evaluator is a very soft-spoken person, and it's a very gentle person. Very recently, I experienced with him. He is such a lovely person. He is one of the operation and training lead by Dunkin' Donuts company, and Taj BP membership elect is a very busy person, but he is passionate to Toastmaster. He is none other than Toastmaster Muhammad Shakir. Toastmaster Muhammad Shakir, the virtual stage is for you. And he's going to evaluate our humorous speaker, Iqbal Kasi.
Thank you, General Evaluator. Once again, good evening to all, and a special good evening to our speaker, Toastmaster Muhammad Iqbal Kasi. What we witnessed today, an amazing speechcraft done perfectly and delivered well by Toastmaster Iqbal Qasim, all about humor. He started his speech with a message. Storytelling is the most powerful way to communicate ideas to people. And he pointed two stories in his overall speech and concluded with a message that join Taj Toastmasters to learn more about humorous speech and how to deliver speech. Overall, a well-crafted speech with a good opening, a body, and a conclusion. And he included two stories. You people still remember those stories? One, it is about a poor guy. He started writing letters to God for begging 100 rupees. And the postman got that letter and he put from himself 50 rupees and he collected the rest of 30 rupees from his colleagues and sent him back. And finally, when he got the money, he is again complaining to God that next time don't give this money with this postman because he took 20 rupees from out of that 100 rupees. It's all humor. You can witness how he is applying the humor. Toastmaster Iqbal Qasim, you are a champion speaker and you handled the humor well. Overall, it is a good speech with a good message. And your hand gesture was awesome. You really used the stage well. And you used the word of the day. Even it is not an impromptu speaking, it's a prepared speech. And you used the word of the day very well. I remember it's twice you used the word of the day. Brilliant attempt. If you could ask me any recommendation, of course, we all here to get recommendations and apply those recommendations in our future speeches and improve ourselves. So since you are a mimicry artist, I could suggest you could apply some vocal variety when you had a conversation with your wife. So you could use some vocal variety. It engage the audience and it gives a much flavor to your speech. And the second one that I noticed, the camera position. It looks like you are looking the camera a little bit down. You are standing and the camera position a little bit down. Overall, it's a very well scripted speech and well delivered also. By adding only these two recommendations, that is the vocal variety and the camera position. Next time, you could do better. Thank you and over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shakir. Timer is missing. Toastmaster Shakir, can you do the timing roll?
I can do the timer roll.
I think it's lost his connection or something. Sorry to give you more jobs. The next evaluator, one of the veteran Toastmaster in Taj Club, a soft-spoken person with a kind gentleman approach. Electrical engineer by profession and working in Saudi Electrical Company. And this Toastmaster, he always says he is the guru of all evaluation. He is none other than DTM Gururajan Rajagopal. DTM Gururajan, the stage is for you for the evaluation of our another DTM, Dr. Sundar Ramalingam.
I'm not seeing the timer. Timer. I have to pin the timer?
Yeah, it's already fixed.
I'm not seeing the timer now. I'll pin the timer. So generally, you will come side by side timer, correct?
1 second, I will.
I can pin you, sir.
Hello?
Yes, already pin it for you, sir.
Thank you, General Evaluator, for the nice words. Today, I thank our speaker, DTM Sundar Ramalingam, for giving a very clear speech with a very clear message. The message is success and failures are only the events and will not tell you who you are. And he made it through beautiful stories, not one, but two. He's an adroit speaker. So throughout the speech, he made the audience glued onto him. He opened very nicely saying that we want to move forward, but we are forced to look at back for the lessons. This is one of the ways to create some curiosity so that people will be attentive to him. Regarding the closing of the speech, he again was mentioning the message like success and failures are only the events. So it was a beautiful content with the stories. I really appreciate the similarity between the two stories. One is the pilgrimage in which he says, 3 days, eat, sleep, and walk. The other story, 3 days again, eat, sleep, and talk. It shows the skills of the speaker, how he correlates between the two stories. He was talking about the perseverance, and he couldn't make the last step in the first story. He made the similar experience in the next story during the contest for 3 days. And finally, he was giving the message, don't worry about the outcome of the results. And it doesn't define who you are. You're always successful. And his body movements are well known, and his vocal varieties and facial expressions. We are all really were following your stories, which is actually very difficult for the normal speaker. Since you are a champion speaker, you made it possible. We had a few suggestions to work on. First one, you could have easily added some humor in your speech. Like you could have added 3 days, eat, sleep, and walk, and no instructions from my wife. Like that, some humor could have been added. Second one is, in the heart of the speeches, you are not able to make up the final moment, but we didn't get the full pain of it, especially the second story also. You could have made a little pause on that. When the results are announced, first 3 things you came first, you have to show happiness. You are successful. But when the last one is coming, you are still successful as far as we are concerned. But you could have shown the pain, a few moments, a pause, and a bit more facial expressions, because that's the heart of your speech. And we have to get the message, then give the message. It doesn't matter whether you succeed or failure. And also, we missed your usual body movements today. Like when you walk, I expected you to walk. It was overall a very clear and speech with a message and useful at this point in time. Only you could have worked on humor and little more storytelling in the last portion of that, and a bit of body movements. With that, your speech will go to the next level. Good luck to you. Over to the general evaluator.
Thank you, DTM Gururajan, for your indeed great evaluation. With this, we completed our prepared speech evaluations, and we'll go for now the table topic evaluation. For the table topic evaluation, we have another eminent evaluator. He is an oral surgeon by profession and a passionate Toastmaster, winner of District 79 evaluation contest. And if I say, I call that he is a living encyclopedia for Taj and overall Toastmaster fraternity. Current club president of Taj and very energetic and champion speaker, none other than DTM Sundar Ramalingam. DTM Sundar Ramalingam, the message is for you for the table topic evaluation.
Before I start, I think I have 8 speakers, so my timing will be 4 minutes green, 4.5 minutes yellow, and 5 minutes red. Timer, please note.
Timer, have you got the criteria? Each speaker have.
Yes, I got it.
4 minutes green, 4.5 minutes yellow, and 5 minutes red. And if I cross 5 minutes and 30 seconds, I am disqualified.
Okay.
That's fine.
Thank you very much, General Evaluator, for that uplifting introduction. And thank you so much for the great session that we had today. Especially kudos to the Table Topics Master, Toastmaster Omar Farooq, who brought in a creative table topic session wherein we had to play the role of a devil's advocate. How many of you know about the phrase devil's advocate? Basically, you are trying to question what somebody believes. And so this is what the role of a devil's advocate is. So we had 2 sets of table topic speakers, the first speaker speaking the affirmative on the same topic, and the second speaker talking on the negative of the same topic. So basically, to give a brief of this one, this is not a truly impromptu session that we talk about in Toastmasters, wherein we are always caught off hook. We have to speak on our feet, because the second speaker always has a chance to know the topic before. So how do you beat that purpose? Well, actually, that's where the trick plays here. So as a second speaker, your aim should not be speaking really negative of the topic, but trying to speak against the points raised by the speaker who spoke in the affirmative. So this was just a general comment which I wanted to highlight to every speaker. So that way it becomes an impromptu speaking session in its true sense. So let me now just go on to the individual speakers who were there. The first speaker who spoke on the affirmative about love is blind was Toastmaster Fardeen. He told us all about how love is an emotion and looking at the sun, but it always blinds you. So that much is the power of love. So he was just trying to metaphorize how love is equivalent to that of the sun. That was a great way of metaphorizing what love is as an emotion. And he also went on to explain that is the reason why diverse people fall in love in spite of their differences and diversities. Something that could have improved his speech outcome could have been a personal example or an anecdote that actually, there are so many examples that we can always talk about, even go for the history or the fairy tale. You know, you have Romeo and Juliet, you have Laila Majnu, and all of those stories, everything that showcases that love is literally blind. So that could have been added upon to add a grace to the story. Our second speaker who spoke on the negative was distinguished Toastmaster Khalid Amin. Of course, he questioned, he was one of the speakers who spoke on the negative, questioned the affirmative points of the previous speaker. He asked with a rhetorical question, if you think love is literally blind, then how do you love people? So that was a great way of starting the speech. And he also went on to signify how understanding the nature and about a person and their attributes is what makes us really love them. And he also reiterated the fact that love is not a word, but an emotion. And again, there was a lot of scope for humor and anecdotes or examples, which could have been even more cleverly or adroitly handled, but that was missing, and that could have been added to improve. Our second topic was avoiding problems is better than solving. We had two speakers. One on the affirmative was Toastmaster FIFA, and this person who spoke on the negative was Toastmaster Javeria. Incidentally, both of these speakers felt handling the problem or avoiding, rather facing the problem or avoiding was literally difficult both ways, because they both were really very fast and finished their speeches too shortly. Toastmaster FIFA, in fact, from the word go, you felt that this was a problem. So you could have actually handled it in such a way that, like, see, now I'm trying to avoid this problem. That is the reason why I was not raising my hand. So such kind of a humorous example could be brought off hook or on the foot to get the essence of the message that is conveyed. And Toastmaster Javeria, on the other hand, she spoke about facing the problem. You know, when you face the problem, you're almost halfway done. So incidentally, when the first speaker did not have enough points, the second speaker also did not have enough points to oppose that. So I believe that was the reason why there was not much of speech going on in this particular topic. But the way these topics could be improved is, like, especially avoiding a problem or facing the problem is all about, you can go on a humorous take on that one. Giving out examples from your life, you know, so especially when you are in school, you know, if you want to, you know that a teacher is strict, then what would you do? You would rather run and hide away. So that way of giving such examples would have improvised the speech. The third set of topics was being wise is better than being intelligent. So the person who spoke on the affirmative was distinguished Toastmaster Manaz, and the person who spoke on negative was Toastmaster Mansur Ala. Well, distinguished Toastmaster Manaz started off very well. He wanted to say that I am a person who sails on two boats with 1 foot on either of them. But then later on, he went on with a drastic change, a paradigm shift. Then he went on to give a very good personal story that proved to us all that being wise is better than intelligence. And on the contrary, Toastmaster Mansur Alam, we did not get a hang of the topic, and that was the reason why probably he was not able to elaborate further. He just went on to say how intelligence is important and ended up shortly. A way of improvising on this topic would have been similarizing wiseness with being smart and intelligence with being hard. So being a smart worker or a hard worker, what do you believe in? So there are two different takes to that one, so this can be easily handled. So this was just a suggestion, and speakers could take up that one. The last topic was there is nothing called luck, and the person who spoke on the affirmative was Toastmaster Shakir. Very well, we all believe as Toastmasters, we never say luck is a factor that favors us. Toastmaster Shakir had good examples to speak about that. And on the person who spoke on the negative was this distinguished Toastmaster Gururajan, although he did not directly pick up points from Toastmaster Shakir's speech and oppose them, but he had a lot of points that conveyed to us that luck is indeed a factor. So an interesting take that could have been here is like how Toastmaster DVM Gururajan was bringing out the humor involving his wife or something like that. So something that could make this topic interesting is possibly when you say that luck is not everything, even though you have a plate of food, delicious food served in front of you, you should have the effort of taking it and putting it in your mouth. Until that point in time, you will not enjoy that food. So that is what the factor of hard work and effort is all about. But on the contrary, if you want to talk on the other side, that luck is everything, you should say that to give the delicious food, you should have a good wife or a good cook or things like that. And this does not happen by effort, but this happens by chance. So these are just some points of improvement wherein the way the content of this table topic speech could have been improvised. In fact, I was looking forward to more, and I believe our speakers have were caught off guard because this is a new session that they were encountering. And hopefully with these points of improvement, they will be able to do a similar session in a much greater fashion in the future. Over to you, General Evaluator.
KTM Sundar Ramalingam, this is really a fast and furious, and you had an adroit tongue also. Thank you. And the timer, could you please check it? All the evaluators are qualified.
Dr. Sundar Ramalingam is disqualified.
Okay. The meantime of voting, shall we go for our meeting leaders report? For that, we'll report for the first bird master and grammarian, Toastmaster Mansoor. Could you please give your report very crispy and short?
Once again, good evening to all. Here is my word master report. Toastmaster Iqbal Qasim uses to us, Dr. Sundar Ramalingam to us uses 1. Toastmaster Rajan Jose uses 3 times, and Toastmaster Shakir uses 1. Let us come to a grammarian report. I didn't find some grammatical mistake, but I found some outstanding words and phrases during the meeting. Practice make man perfect, aggressive, excellence, attribute, eventually, drive the behavior, proficiency, interdependent, opportunity, stranger, positive vibes, optimistic, sarcastic, speech modulation, superpower, posture, gesture, and body language, recollect, monkey jump, absent-minded, and irreversible, wandering. These are all my grammarian report. Back to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Mansoor. Then let's go for the account report. Toastmaster Saravanan. Toastmaster Saravanan, could you please give you the report?
Yes, sir. Good evening, everybody, once again. So today my responsibility all counter. So first speaker is Toastmaster Bhaskar. He is wonderful speaking. A is 2 times, 1 times, and 1 times. So 3 times. Repeat words, I can repeat words. So another Toastmaster Iqbal Qasim, he was a very good speaker. So I enjoyed the speaker. And only for less space fillers, and 3 times. So 1 times. So this is today accountants. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Saravanan. And let's go for the timer report. Toastmaster Praveen, could you please show your timing timing report?
Yes. Good evening, Toastmasters. Today timing reports. Prepared speech. Toastmaster Bhaskar 7 minutes 25 seconds. Toastmaster Iqbal Qasim 6 minutes 50 seconds. DTM Sundar Ramalingam 7 minutes 20 seconds. And table topic speakers. Toastmaster Fardeen Khan 2 minutes 6 seconds. Toastmaster Khalid Amin 2 minutes 18 seconds. Toastmaster Afifa 39 seconds disqualified. Toastmaster Juwaira 39 seconds disqualified. Toastmaster Manas 2 minutes 11 seconds. Toastmaster Mansoor 41 seconds disqualified. Toastmaster Shakir 1 minute 29 seconds. Toastmaster Guru Rajan 2 minutes 7. And speaking evaluation. Toastmaster Rajan chose 2 minutes, 3 minutes. Toastmaster Shakib, 3 minutes, 35 seconds. Toastmaster Gurrajan, 3 minutes, 10 seconds. And DTM Sundar Ramalingam, 6 minutes, 44 seconds. Disqualified. Back to you, Toastmaster.
Thank you, Toastmaster Praveen. Okay, now the meeting leaders report is completed. So I will give my general evaluation about the entire meeting. Overall, the meeting was great. Sajjanita started the meeting a little bit late, 2 minutes late. And always Taj is maintaining our quality and timing criteria. So please try to stick on the timing, and that means start on time and end on time. So exceeding the time limit is not at all acceptable, because most of us is busy with some other schedules also, and we need to maintain the timing criteria. Overall, the prepared speech session and the table topic session was indeed a great speak. All the speakers have done a great job thereon. Coming to the timer report, we have an Excel sheet. I will forward you tomorrow, and we are following that quality of that timing report. So we need to follow as the pattern. Okay. All the things are great. We need to stick on the timing criteria. This is the main issue. And with this note, I am signing off, and over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you. Thank you, Toastmaster Sunil, for this fabulous evaluation session. Yeah, can't agree more. But then, how often do we have dozens of guests in our meeting? So I thought we do practice concluding our meetings on time. Today, we would practice accommodating our guests. So practice means to perform over and over again in the face of all obstacles, right? Some act of vision, of faith, of desire. Practice is a means of invitation to perfection. Perfection that is desired. So here's something I would suggest. Sit for a moment and reflect on your practices. Are you practicing being happy or being sad? Whatever your circumstances are. Are you practicing being present or being distracted? Are you practicing being stressed or being grounded? Forget the external factors that are impacting you. You know what you're practicing. Are you practicing seeing the best in people or seeing the worst? And what about home? What are you practicing at home, especially when your children do mistakes? Yeah, we all parents, we are their teachers and their mentors. With the authority, essentially, what do we practice? That introspection is going to go a long way. So recognize your own role in creating or sustaining some of the very problems with which you struggle, and do something about it. It bothers me at times when I see parents raising their hands on their children. And I every time ask, what are we practicing? The way I look essentially is someone is practicing and demonstrating how to settle the differences. That's what it is. And that brings me back practicing having conversations. So it's far more important to learn the skills of having the conversations when you have disagreements with people, even with your children. The moment you find a vacuum of the skills of having conversation when you have disagreement with your children, then you try to settle the scores by raising your arm because you want to teach a lesson, whatever that be. But violence, there should be no room for violence. So imagine practicing and imagine the practices that build the execution muscle while you enrich relationships with everyone around you. If you don't have the aptitude of managing with your own children, then I'm sorry. I'm not here essentially to judge, but it's all about practicing. And I am work in progress, and I have learned more by teaching. So it was an awesome session being a Toastmaster of you, and apologies for the extended period of time. We are within the extended period of time now, and I would hand over the podium to the presiding officer. Toastmaster Sunil, the virtual stage is yours. Thank you.
Thanks once again, Toastmaster of the Day, which was indeed, it's a great meeting. Really, we have thoroughly enjoyed the meeting. Now, this is a time to do the voting for the meeting leaders. It's already already put this Google form on this virtual background, and now you can also do the voting for the big three. Toastmaster can or put this one voting.
The link already been shared.
Okay.
Chat.
So, my dear guest, can you give me your feedback? How was today's meeting? Toastmaster Fardeen Khan.
Yes, thank you so much, Toastmaster Sunil. Well, I tried to be along the meeting from the starting, and I think I really loved the theme. It was really great and informative for me, as well as the table topics was a super fun table topics. I think the only thing that got to me was the time extension and stuff, because as you know, in India, it's already the next day. So we are past 12 in the midnight. So that's a thing. But other than that, I think it was a great meeting. And I really enjoyed it. And I love the way, I mean, everyone here is so advanced. I love that. Yeah, it was a great meeting.
Thank you very much for your feedback, and we will stick on the timing criteria. And the other guest, Toastmaster Khalid Amin. Can you give your feedback, please?
Yes, Mr. President. Thank you very much for having me. Hello, everyone. I will try to be brief. Very adroit at every level, except you just time management perhaps can be handled better in future. Thank you again. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. We will note this point. And another guest is Madam Juari.
Hello, sir. Very good evening to you all.
Can you give the feedback for today's meeting?
Yeah, table topics were great. I know I'm not a good speaker. That's the reason I'm Toastmasters. And as Sundar sir said that I should have narrated an incident. So I'll try it next time, inshallah.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, be with us.
Okay, sir.
And grow with us.
Yeah, sure. I would love to. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. And Toastmaster DTM Sundar, is there any another announcement?
I think that's it. Thank you. Just you announced about our annual day celebration on 24th.
It's already announced in the beginning of the meeting.
Yeah, that's it. We can proceed with the results.
Okay, with this we are end with our regular meeting of today's, and before we are going to close the meeting, shall we stand for our national anthem? Toastmaster DTM Sundar, can you please play on
Point of information, we need to announce the results.
I'm so sorry. Can you Toastmaster Shakir, can you show the winners of today's?
Yeah, good evening once again. I think except Toastmaster Sunil Edukula, everybody is excited for the results, right? He's running far away. Okay. So let me share the results for today's meeting. Give me a second. So you are all excited for the results. Here we goes. Okay. For today, difference in the wrong income. Best table topic speaker, Toastmaster Fardeen Khan. Best evaluator, Toastmaster Ravin Pro. The best meeting leader, Coach Julie. And the best of big three goes to Toastmaster Ibrahim Malikar, our team. Congratulations to all the winners and over to you, presiding officer.
Presiding officer, can I share the national anthem?
Please.
I request every one of you to stand up for the national anthems.
Okay, finally the meeting is finally adjourned.